بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Some people try to attack the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and they try to cast doubts upon our deen and try to attack the teachings of Islam. And one of the issues that sometimes people bring up is the fact that Abu Huraira anhu narrated a huge amount of ahadith, a lot of ahadith, even though he accompanied the Prophet ﷺ for only a few years. So they say, how could Abu Huraira anhu narrate over 5,000 ahadith? How could he have narrated over 5,000 ahadith, even though he only accompanied the Prophet ﷺ for a little over 3 years? And there's a lot of things to discuss and mention when it comes to this, but inshallah I want to keep this a short video, and maybe we'll discuss other things in the future, but I want to keep this video very short, and I just want to take a deeper look at the statement itself and break it down so we can have a better understanding of the statement itself before we even begin to address anything. So let's look at this statement. Abu Hurairah narrated over 5,000 ahadith. In the books of ahadith, we see that there is a little over 5,000 ahadith which Abu Hurairah narrated. Now let's break this down. So these 5,000 narrations, this number includes all the different chains of narration of ahadith that are narrated from Abu Hurairah. So this includes all the different chains of narration, which includes different chains of narration for the same text or wording of hadith. So it could be one hadith that Abu Hurairah narrated from the Prophet ﷺ that has multiple chains of narrations. So all these different chains, each one is counted as a hadith and as a hadith narration. It's included in that 5,000 count for the same text. So there might be one hadith, might have one text, might have 5 different chains of narration from different people going back to Abu Hurairah narrating that hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. And so that would count as 5 ahadith in those 5,000 count, not just as one wording, one hadith or one text. This 5,000 count also includes ahadith, all the ahadith, which includes those that are authentic and includes also the ones that are not authentic. Includes a hadith that are sahih, includes a hadith that are hasan, includes a hadith that are weak, that are very weak, that are fabricated even, which Abu Hurairah anhu, if it's a fabricated, if the chain has a liar in it, someone who fabricated this whole hadith up, then Abu Hurairah, the Prophet ﷺ himself never said that hadith if it's fabricated, and Abu Hurairah anhu never narrated this hadith either from the Prophet ﷺ, and it was that liar in that chain who made that hadith up. So if it's a fabricated hadith. So in other words, that 5,000 count includes all the ahadith which Abu Hurairah had narrated, or which were attributed to that Abu Hurairah anhu narrated, which includes the authentic and the ones that aren't authentic. And of course, so the ones that aren't authentic, if they weren't narrated by Abu Hurairah to begin with, they're still included in that count because they have a chain of narration which was compiled in some of the books of hadith. Now this 5,000 count also includes ahadith that have been narrated by Abu Hurairah as well as by other companions as well. So the same hadith could be narrated by several companions or multiple companions. And so some of those 5,000 ahadith that Abu Hurairah anhu narrated, some of them have been narrated by other companions as well, along with Abu Hurairah or besides Abu Hurairah anhu. So the same hadith might be narrated by Abu Hurairah and another companion, or several other companions as well. So if we take out from those 5,000 ahadith, a little over 5,000, if we take out all the chains that repeat the same text, and if we take out all the ones that aren't authentic, that aren't authentically established, and if we take out all the ones that have been narrated by other companions besides Abu Hurairah as well, we are left with about 1 to 200 authentic ahadith that have been narrated by Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu. So it's a much smaller number really than we would imagine. If you are looking only at the authentic ahadith that Abu Huraira narrated from the Prophet ﷺ, and that no other companion narrated those ahadith along with Abu Huraira as well, then they come up to about 1 to 200 ahadith. So there's many points, other points to discuss here, but now that we have a proper understanding and perception of this issue, when people say this statement, now that we have a proper understanding of what it entails in depth, what it actually means, as you can see, there isn't much of a doubt left that would even need to be discussed or addressed here. And shows you how silly those who bring this issue up to cast doubts upon the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or the Hadith, or the Deen, or the teachings of Islam. It shows how silly they are. Either they are ignorant about this, and it shows their lack of knowledge, or they know this but they intentionally try to present this false claim in a way to try to attack the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the teachings of Islam, and try to cast doubt upon the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in general, and try to cast doubt or reject them altogether, and try to reject the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ altogether. And either way, it says a lot about such people and about the doubts that they even bring up to try to cast doubts on the Deen. This also shows us the importance of knowledge, of seeking knowledge, having sound knowledge to protect ourselves and our Deen and our faith from any doubts or shubuhat that people might bring up. This helps us preserve our faith and strengthen our iman. Without proper knowledge, people might fall for such doubts, even if they're not true or don't have any substance, as we see here in this example. And that's why my advice to all of you is to seek knowledge and to prioritize it. Prioritize seeking knowledge. Emphasize it. Allocate a lot of your free time towards it, towards seeking sound knowledge from credible sources, and really seek knowledge actively. Sound knowledge from credible sources actively, so that you may have a strong foundation, and you are able to easily see through silly doubts like this that some people bring up. Inshallah ta'ala. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khaira, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.